Happy Saturday evening, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here. Gonna just have a live stream to take a look across mid-Michigan as snowfall has started to impact many areas as we've gotten through this afternoon. It started earlier in the day, right around noon for areas like Mount Pleasant. If you were watching the Central Michigan-Toledo game, well, you did see some snow on the field actually start to accumulate. And obviously, if you're watching the game, there was some snow during that game as well. So definitely stayed to our west and to our south. But as we've gotten through much of this afternoon, that snow has continued to increase across much of the region. As always, if you have any questions, head over to our chat on Facebook at WNEM TV5 News. There, I will try to answer any of the questions you might have. I will apologize if I miss your questions. Sometimes don't always get a chance to look over at our chat there. But again, that snow has started to fall. We take a look right now, starting on our outside camera at Flint Vehicle City Harley-Davidson, and it is showing snow falling. It's hard to tell because it is dark out, and it's still pretty light snow at times, but definitely seeing impacts on the road. At times, the roads there out near Vehicle City have been snow covered, so definitely something that we're seeing. And as we look across the region right now, we'll look at downtown Saginaw. Snow has been falling here. It's been a little bit lighter than some areas, especially out to the west and to the south, but definitely seeing snow covered roads. And that's really the biggest thing right now, is most of our roads either have a little bit of snow and some ice, or just snow, or even just ice in some areas. We've had many reports of accidents across the region, just not very good travel. And then we again look to an area that saw snow a little bit earlier in the day. This is Mount Pleasant there at Central Michigan University. And again, that's those snow covered roads there on campus, snow accumulating on the grass there. Something, again, we're going to continue to see here through the remainder of our evening, overnight, and into tomorrow morning. People need to slow down. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Again, we've had a lot of reports of accidents already. I think people are just obviously not prepared. We really haven't had that, really big, widespread snow. Yes, some areas have gotten snow here over the last couple of days, but I think most people, this is the first one of the season for them. It's pretty slick and burnt right now. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Again, this snow is giving us those reports of very slick roads. And I think some of it earlier in the system was just early enough that it may have melted on surfaces and then froze. So that's why you might have some ice out there as well. But Sky Tracker right now continues to show this snow chance moving in from the sort of south-southwest. Again, yesterday at this time, the system was in Iowa, giving them quite a bit of snow, and it's continued to move to the east-northeast here over the last, really day or so, and that will continue. Our heaviest snow bands right now look to be sort of south of Mount Pleasant, maybe towards Chesaning, Owasso, and they'll continue to sort of move to the east. You can see that movement on our Sky Tracker. And I'm actually going to pull away cloud cover by going over to Pinpoint Doppler because I think it gives a better view of what we're seeing on our radar. And it's definitely showing heavier snowfall, that darker blue color in areas there towards Gratiot County, into Saginaw County, and I think really towards 75 there between Saginaw and Flint. And again, as you sort of zoom out here, we can see this system isn't really close to done. We again have a whole night of snow because we still have bands of snow developing down here to the south, heavy at times towards Kalamazoo. This has really been the hot spot down there, Kalamazoo south, through this sort of afternoon. And again, that will start to move to the north-northeast as a low pressure system that's just down here to the south starts to move to the north-northeast. So if you've been paying attention, obviously it is a first alert weather day for today into tomorrow. In terms of road conditions for the next really 24 hours, I'd anticipate roads are already slick this afternoon / this evening. As we get through the night, roads will continue to be ice and snow covered. And then as you're waking up tomorrow morning, if you have plans, maybe you have to go off to work on a Sunday, slow travel will be an issue. You'll have some backups, and snow will continue to fall. Again, it does leave pretty early in the morning, but it's late enough in the morning that I think you continue to see that impact. Even if you're leaving at really, let's say 8 to 9 a.m., you're still going to see some of that snow. Now, looking at our first alert traffic, I know this is a big thing for a lot of people. Maybe you're at work right now, or you're going to go travel home, or maybe you have family that's traveling and you're a little bit worried. Let's see what we have. In our northern counties where that snow has really started to pick up, you're seeing slowdowns. And this map, again, is usually green. We're seeing a lot of yellows. We're seeing oranges at time. Right now, it's looking to be mostly West Branch out to Whittemore. That's been really the hot spot of slowdowns there on M55. But even down south, M30, M61, 75, there's been slowdowns at times. We move into the Bay region and it's looking mostly yellow. Lots of slowdowns as we get across the Bay region. Again, 75 around Saginaw. And this is not counting your back roads that maybe haven't had as much travel on them, maybe haven't been treated ahead of this system. So reminder that if you hit the back roads tonight, they may be even worse than what we're seeing our main roads be, where again, we're seeing those sort of yellows, slowdowns almost everywhere across mid-Michigan. Again, 127 now from Clare almost all the way down to Ashley, almost all of that seeing that slowdown. Down to Genesee County, it's also more of the same. It's a lot of yellow, it's a lot of slowdowns, it is slick roads, it is snow-covered roads. I know we've had quite a few reports of accidents there in Genesee County. So like we keep saying, it would probably sound like a broken record, and I know it's obviously it's Michigan, we're used to snow, but we want you to be safe. That's really what this is here for, is to keep you safe. If you can stay indoors tonight into tomorrow morning, please do. Obviously, not everyone has that privilege, so if you're going to be someone that hits the roads tonight into tomorrow morning, just play it safe. And again, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to end early enough where I think that, you know, road crews should be able to keep up as we're getting out and about for our Sunday and can get ahead of any of that snow. Now, just looking outside of mid-Michigan here, we'll look down to the Lansing area where we can include Shiawassee County. It is slowdowns. M52 from really Owasso down to Williamston has been slow through really since 3 or 4 p.m. If you've been on that road, let me know what that slowdown's like. 23 is also showing slowdown. 96 is slow. And Metro Detroit actually looks a little better than it did earlier. When this snow really started there, especially around Troy, Livonia, those were areas that had lots of slowdowns. And we're still seeing that, but I think there's a little bit of improvement. Hopefully that continues. There were like 4 or 5 accidents on this map earlier as well in Metro Detroit that have now gone away. But again, we'll continue to see this map get updated as we get through the next couple of hours. Derek asked, what time are we looking at being done in the morning? I think if I had to give you a rough estimate, most of the region probably by 9 to 10 a.m. There will be some areas out east that it may linger till about noon. But another nice thing about this is the snowfall rate slows down. It isn't going to be as high as what we see tonight. So snowfall rates really starting now through about 2 to 3 a.m. could be up to 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. They could also be up to an inch in some areas. By about 6 a.m., I think that drops to maybe 1/4 to 1/2 an inch per hour. So definitely seeing improvement. You're still going to see some snow though, and then again, moving out by about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And we've continued to see these winter weather alerts through the day. There actually was an update earlier today, and that was our northern counties actually being issued in that winter storm warning. So that's mostly north of the Bay into Gladwin. I think Clare could have a possibility if we can just get the right setup to see that upgrade. In terms of snowfall from areas that are in the winter storm warning or the winter weather advisory, there really isn't much difference. It's mostly just how quickly does it fall. I think you see quicker snowfall rates in areas in that winter storm warning, but because it may last a little bit longer to the east, you end up having just as much snow out there in areas like Flint and Tuscola County. Can you show the hour by hour? We're actually going to get to that here right now, Liz. Hour by hour, again, is showing how widespread this system is really getting, and it's going to continue to stay widespread. This is at 10 p.m., so here over the next 2 hours, showing moderate snowfall in many areas, but consistent snowfall. I think that's the big thing for tonight, is snowfall is going to stay consistent. You may catch a break for a few minutes here or there, but for the most part, it is here, and it's going to continue to be something we see. This is at 1 a.m., continuing to show that snowfall, then even through 6 to 7 a.m. seeing that snow. But again, by about 9 to 10 a.m., most of that snow chance it moves out to the west, it'll be a little bit lighter as well as it moves out. So Huron County, Tuscola, Sanilac into Lapeer counties, those are areas that are just a little bit lighter as it moves out. We will catch some isolated snow later in the afternoon. That's going to be pretty light. We don't expect any more accumulations from that, but it is there. You may notice a few snowflakes late, sort of mid-afternoon Sunday, and then by 6 p.m. it looks like we should really start to dry out. But I'll go through that hour by hour one more time for anyone that's maybe just joining us or just is really curious. Again, widespread snow across mid-Michigan and almost all of Michigan through the next 2, 3, 4 hours. Again, consistent for most of the night. Snowfall rates at about 1 inch per hour at max. Lots of times it'll be 3/4 of an inch at your peak, and just continuing through midnight, 1 a.m. before moving out right around 9 to 10 a.m. where we start to see that improvement. So again, we're just going to sit here. If you have any questions, let me know. We're just here to monitor the weather, watch this snowfall as we get through here, probably the next 10 to 20 minutes. How much snow should we expect in Bay County, Bay City, when this is all said and done? Zachary asks. I still think we're sitting good. Actually, I'll show that snowfall potential map. I think 5 to 8 inches is going to be where we sit. Could you see 4.5 to 5? It's a possibility. You know, obviously localized areas could see a little bit more. I think though that Bay City area, you're definitely seeing that chance of 5 to 8 inches through the night into tomorrow morning. Alice asks, coming up from Kentucky in the morning, up 65 to 69, how should the roads be around 1 a.m.? Well, I think they'll be in better shape than what we're seeing tonight because, again, road crews will have time to really get out there and scrape the roads and put salt down. Could you run into some slick spots? Definitely a possibility just because, obviously, we're getting this snow and road crews may end up missing some areas. You know, they're not always they sometimes get busy with other areas and maybe they have to skip an area. But I think by 1 p.m., you should be in decent shape. Again, should see that snow really be moved out by that time. What about Port Huron area? I think very similar, 5 to 8 inches. Actually, I just seen, was this an update from the National Weather Service? Let's see, we always like to look this up when I see notifications from National Weather Service. I like to see what they have just because it is a good sort of comparison. So it's nothing. Okay. So again, Port Huron, you're probably going to be looking at, I think actually, now that I think about it, that area could see 3 to 6. You're a little bit closer to the shorelines. That water could have some influence. Could you see it a little bit higher again? You definitely could. So missing some questions here. Sorry about that. Getting those roads clear before I land in Detroit at 3:45 tomorrow. Dang, leaving Florida. Yeah, Florida must be nice. Hey, Stone, let me help you. I live in a Bay County. I live by the bay. I have no snow, and it's not snowing. Does that help your forecast? It does, Mark. It is a good thing to know. And again, I think that might be because you are getting some influence from the warmer waters. Now, I think that is going to change. You are going to see some snow eventually, but I think that warmer water really may be hurting some of that lighter snowfall. And that was something we talked about here over the last couple of days here at the First Alert weather team was, hey, some of that warmer water may not help this system as it moves closer. But again, as I look at pinpoint Doppler, I think you will get some snow pretty soon, if not a few flakes already falling. Carrie says right now I-75 is horrible. Yeah, again, we'll look at our First Alert traffic map. It's not great. 75 really from as far north as you can get here is showing slowdowns in both north and southbound. That's from West Branch to Standish, down through Linwood into Bay City, down through Saginaw. Again, Birch Run to Flint, 75, not great. Yes, you may catch some areas. That could be a little bit better, but you're definitely have that possibility. Mark says, hey, Stone, let me help you out with your forecast. I just looked outside. It's not snowing. Will we get high winds with this? I can't speak. I apologize. Sometimes it's a little much. doing all this. But Nick asked, will we get high winds after this system? There's definitely a possibility to get some blowing snow tomorrow, some stronger winds. It's definitely going to increase. I'll actually pull up our wind gust map. Let's see if I can load that up real quick. That is not the right map. That is our wind gust right now. That's not what we want. So as we look at our forecasted gust, they're actually picking up already tonight. So as we get through about midnight, we actually do see wind gusts out of the south-southeast at 15 to 30 miles per hour. So again, I think blowing snow could become a concern with this system, especially down to the south. Now, if you live in an area with some trees, that will help block some of those winds, but we are continuing to see winds increase tomorrow as that low pressure system sort of pulls away. And this is at noon still. As maybe the snow stops, we're still seeing stronger winds. Again, 15 to 25, maybe 15 to 30 miles per hour. So, you know, it's just going to be a pretty breezy Sunday, and it may carry over into Monday as well. Actually, we can see this is at 3 p.m. I haven't even looked that far yet at wind gusts. And this forecasting model is showing wind gusts up to 25 to 35 miles per hour. So it's going to be breezy. We'll have some blowing snow. Elma has a dusting. We'll see how that area gets. That's an area we've been sort of keeping an eye on because they were starting a little bit earlier. There's been a little bit of a signal that, hey, some of that energy, some of the higher energies with this low could reach into that sort of southwest corner of the state. Nick, again, that's why I'm wondering if I'm in Northern Bay County, thanks, Snow. Yeah, no problem. Is Midland going to get a lot of snow? I think, again, it is a possibility. I'll continue to pull up our manual snowfall map that we obviously made. Right now, still showing 5 to 8 inches. Let's see if do I have a comparison map updated? I don't, but we'll pull up this as one of our forecasting models to show, hey, this model showing right around 5 inches there in Midland. So it's definitely a possibility to see that 5 to 8. Again, we've started a little bit earlier in some areas. We'll see how things progress through the night, but we're definitely going to get some snow as we get through the night. Yeah, snow during the winter months. Oh, the humanity. I get it. I've been saying all week, it's Michigan. We understand it. We want people to be safe though. You know, not everyone is prepared. We already see this on our roads. You know, roads are terrible. We've had lots of reports of accidents. And so, you know, we just hope that we can prepare people enough for these typical Michigan snow events. You know, it's what we're going to see. But I think people want to know, hey, we're here. Mark, I haven't had an opportunity to look outside in the last 5 minutes, but my projection is we'll have slight winds. The west blowing snow. Yeah, I think there definitely could be some areas. You mentioned rain. I think down to the south, southeast, maybe out of mid-Michigan. But there will be some areas. I'm not going to count out seeing a few raindrops. But it should be cold enough through the night, though. We don't see that. And even tomorrow, most of Michigan should be cold enough to avoid that rain. But honestly, it's not a bad thing to think of because things will get slippery if we add some rain and then we cool down again. Just that possibility. Hello, I hope, again, everyone's having a wonderful afternoon. We're just sort of sitting here chilling, watching the snow fall, looking at our sort of traffic maps and our sky tracker. I'm actually going to pull up Pinpoint Doppler. Sky, I don't know how much we really care about cloud cover at this point. I think it's mostly that snow that's falling. But again, it looks like our heaviest bands definitely now up towards Roscommon County and Ogama County, which I know those areas you probably don't want more snow because, well, you had a lot. Roscommon County, northern Roscommon County, 12 inches. I know Rose City had 12 inches, and then Higgins Lake was a little bit higher than that. Just that lake effect snow that just set up and didn't move here as we got through the last couple of days. So I know I saw a few people saying, well, you guys, you alerted us to snow on Wednesday and Thursday. I didn't get any. Well, it was the lake effect snow. It was very variable. It stayed mostly to the north. Again, Higgins Lake, Holton Lake, up to 12 inches. Rose City had 12.5 inches. Grayling at one point had, I think, a report of 18 inches. So definitely lots of snow up there to the north. And if you have any family members out west, you definitely saw some snow chances there with that lake effect, and that carries over into today. Roads were slick coming from Midland to Auburn. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Again, as we take a look at our first alert traffic map, you're definitely seeing very slow roads at this point. They are snow covered. Just in that area, yeah, lots of yellow with lots of slowdowns. M20, M30, M13, M25, really any road that has a letter or number, it's going to have some slowdowns on it for this afternoon. So maybe you're traveling home from Michigan from the game, maybe you're traveling home from just Thanksgiving. It's obviously just play it safe here over the rest of tonight into tomorrow. Maybe you're going to be down towards Detroit. Obviously, Michigan State's playing right now. I don't really know the score of that game, but let's actually take a peek real quick while we're here. Let's see what Michigan State is probably losing by. Maybe they're winning. Can I load it here? No. Okay. Not quick enough. Not quick enough for me. Roads are icing over in Gratiot County. Yeah, again, there's been reports from Genesee to Gratiot. I would imagine Saginaw County. Roads are icy. There was a little bit of melting at times this afternoon that was a possibility. So, again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but just play it safe if you're hitting the roads. If you can stay indoors, go right ahead. The weather is, roads are icy. Yeah, roads definitely icing there. So let's just see if there's any really major slowdowns. No, it's just mostly those yellows right now across mid-Michigan. But yeah, so we're going to continue to monitor this system through the remainder of our Saturday into our Sunday. We'll have obviously updates on our 10 p.m. news and our 11 p.m. news. If anything really changes here in the next hour or so, I will get back on our live stream, but I do have to end it now just to prepare for the rest of the afternoon. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, we have these live streams when we have weather events going on, whether that's summer severe weather or winter severe weather. We just want to keep you guys up to date, keep you guys safe as you're planning through your weekend. I know, again, this was a busy weekend for many with Thanksgiving obviously on Thursday. But don't see any more questions. Again, hopefully everyone has a wonderful and safe rest of your day. If you can stay indoors, please do. If you have to go outside, please be safe. And just enjoy the snow as we start to get into the winter time and we just get to that typical Michigan winter that many of us enjoy and many of us actually want to see, as we just have been missing out snow chances over the last couple of years. But I'll end it here. I'll keep it on Pinpoint Doppler maybe for a little bit, but that's where we're going to end it here for now.